And there's some great headlines that'll kind of either conflict with each other, which we're all oversaturated with media. But on one hand, we've got the U.S. payroll came out, and like, okay, that's interesting to me. I mean, I don't think anyone on this call, I don't know that we question the veracity per se of the DOL labor, but when you live where we live in TA in the white collar knowledge worker space, I'm questioning the veracity. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't apply necessarily. If you look really deeper, you'll see that it's healthcare, transportation, warehousing, financial services, I guess, and social assistance. So, I don't know, man. 177,000 jobs sounds great at the high end, but I don't see any. It doesn't say talent acquisition growth of 10,000 jobs. I don't see IT technology growth of 10,000 jobs. It's just not happening. And I think we all know why. The gorilla in the room is on the other side. 1 in 8 U.S. workers could be displaced due to automation, and that's like 20 million people. So I don't know how many months you got to go to replace all of that. And then you combine all that, Frank, with the leaders not knowing what they're doing, man. I mean, this is just not that complicated. We've seen this before with the C-suite. God bless you if there's some C-level executives out here. I certainly consider myself one. So I'm looking in the mirror, man. We tend to jump and then look and aim. And they jumped, and now they're looking and aiming, and they're realizing, you know what? We may have gotten a little too far with this stuff, this commitment to AI. We may find that we're going to have to do some hiring. And certainly that's what we're hoping. And then the icing on the cake is I've been tracking, as you probably know, those of you who've been on these calls, tracking Mobley pretty tightly because this is a really interesting case. And we're not going to unpack this. The panel can go wherever they want with this topic. There'll be more, I'm quite sure in the coming months, there'll be more to unpack as it relates to Mobley as we react to what's happened. But what just did happen is it looks like Judge Lynn, who's the judge that's overseeing this case, is very keen about letting it go to a class action. I'm watching every day for her to come out with her finding, but it's looking more and more like she's going to allow it to become class action, and that's interesting because that's a class action suit against a bot.
Absolutely. I mean, think about the number of changes going on where I think so many of our leaders want to put their blinders on and say, there's one thing they're dealing with. We're dealing with so much around. What does it mean that 177,000, more jobs? Hey, that's great. Are those white collar roles? Are those here? Probably not. Okay, still great. And then what are we going to do with this automation side? Because now the automation seems more in the white collar world than in the blue collar world. I have a new manufacturing line or whatever that we've been used to the last 200 years. Now, hey, this is white collar automation. This is changing things a little bit. What's going to be the impact here? And then the legal case. What are we talking about when we say AI? There is no case study. This happened, for years. We need case law. I mean, we don't have it, and things are moving so fast, and people are, I need to buy this AI thing, and they don't even know why. So my question, when people ask me, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Why do you need these things? If there's a particular business issue, then let's go figure out how to solve that issue. But just saying we're using AI without defining it or that decision-making part, right? I mean, we love spell check, we love grammar check, the AI 1.0 stuff. But when we're getting into, hey, we're going to teach a system to make a decision for us, we need to really understand how that works and really think about that long and hard. And we need case law.
And when Mobley, in any case like Mobley, we just use, as is the case in case law, you refer to the case that sets the precedent, and this is the one. And we never had this before because Derek Mobley is specifically suing the bot named in this. A bot has been named in a lawsuit, and it's Workday. This isn't some esoteric app that's experimenting on the fringe. This is 10,000 enterprises are implicated. And as Britt Marie, if you remember, Frank, forecasted for us several months ago, he says at some point, if this goes forward as a class, Workday is not going to want to be alone in that class. Workday themselves will have to look for a port in a storm, and their port in a storm will be their clients. And then all of a sudden, you're having a different conversation about technology. I'm struggling to square that with the what looks to be rapid deployment of AI agents into our ecosystem with not a lot of thoughtfulness. And Mobley might very quickly provide some thoughtfulness for us to reference.
And it may truly be like in the Mobley case that, hey, a recruiter opens up the rec, they see the candidates that are there, they reject whoever they want to reject. And this guy was rejected 100 some times, all in Workday environments. No one would really have, much of a legal standing there. Yet Workday is jumping up and down, as well as many other vendors, saying our AI tool helps you automate with decision making. Our AI tool does this. And if they start using those words that their tool is doing it on behalf of the client, they're opening up these can of worms, which Marie was touching on, that a lot of this could have gone away if some of the language was used differently. Yet all these vendors want to jump in and say how great their tools are. And, and now we're talking about agentic AI and we're getting all excited about that. When, well, hold on a second here. Are you really making decisions or is the human in there? And that's what we're getting at with this. And think about what just happened. I don't know if you guys in the group read, I think it was yesterday or this morning, the Office of Personnel Management just made a decision to go to Workday for a 1-year contract without bidding. I think this is like one of the few things the government's ever done without, no bid contract for their whole HR thing for Office of Personnel Management. At the same time, you're letting go tens of thousands of people.
Wow.
You're retiring all these people and they're going to go to Workday. And oh, wait, by the way, we have all these, unsettled legal issues going on. So clearly they didn't, say, how's this vendor in legal stance right now? So anyways, just don't mean to go on and on.
Yeah, that's great stuff. All right, Jeff, let's move on so we get to the panel. This just tees up what we already know. Candidate experience is something less than stellar. And I love the fact that one person voted perfect, which I think is just so snarky and sarcastic. But there's small sample size. You got 50 some odd votes here. But I don't think we have. This is not a news flash, Jeff or Frank or everybody. On top of all of the stuff that we just unpacked, the candidate, and quite frankly, as a result of it, the candidate experience is remaining in the gutter where it ought not to be.